Hi everyone! I wanted to share how to make 5 aesthetic DIYs you can make for summer. And for this first DIY, I traced the front of an old CD case on pink cardstock paper, and trimmed off the excess so it can fit in the CD case. Next, I drew a butterfly on a piece of white cardstock paper with a marker, and I also ripped some yellow paper to fit into 2 of the corners. I also cut a quote out of scrapbook paper, and then I glued everything down with Mod Podge. I started gluing on the yellow paper first, and then I glued on the butterfly and the quote. Then I placed a piece of floral and gold washi tape on the top left, and I also added more ripped paper in the top right. And the last thing I did was that I drew some stars and sparkles on the pink paper, and then I put the paper in the CD case to finish this cute collage idea. Now for this next DIY, I folded a cupcake liner in half, and then I folded it a second time. And after I was done making the first one, I repeated the same steps for 3 more cupcake liners. Next, I glued the cupcake liners together in a shape of a butterfly with Mod Podge by starting to glue 2 of the cupcake liners together to form the right side of the butterfly. And I also did the same thing for the left side. When I was done, I glued both sides together in the middle. And once it dried a little bit, I trimmed the cupcake liners to give the butterfly more shape. Then I painted a clothespin with white paint, and once it was dry, I folded a piece of wire in half and glued the wire on the back of the clothespin for the antennae of the butterfly with hot glue. Now once the glue was dry, I put Mod Podge on the clothespin and sprinkled glitter on it. And while it was drying, I glued on the clothespin in the middle of the cupcake liners with hot glue. Then the last thing I did was that I glued on a piece of paper on the back to maybe help protect the cupcake liners from ripping, and placed a magnet on it to finish these really cute cupcake liner butterfly magnets. For this third DIY, I painted a mini canvas pink, and once it was dry, I glued on 2 heart rhinestones and some green rhinestones into a shape of a cherry with Mod Podge. But if you were to make a larger design, I recommend painting your design first so you don't see the background color underneath of the rhinestones. Now the last thing I did was that I glued on a gold triangle in each corner of the canvas, and then I was done making this rhinestone canvas idea. Now for this next DIY, I painted dark blue paint on the bottom half of a canvas, and then I painted light blue on the other half of the canvas. And then I blended the paint together in the middle to create an ombre effect. Next, I laid out some pieces of sea glass onto the canvas and glued them on with Mod Podge. Then while it was drying, I took a similar color of paint that matched the sea glass and made wavy lines coming from the middle of each piece of sea glass to create jellyfish. And the wavy lines don't have to be perfectly solid because you'll be able to see some of the blue paint underneath. Now the last thing I did was that I waited for the Mod Podge to dry so the sea glass won't fall off while this jellyfish painting idea is hanging up or sitting on something. Now for this last DIY, I used a box that I cut in half a couple months ago and painted it white, and waited for the paint to dry. Next, I traced a wood heart on the box where I wanted the front to be, and then I cut out the heart with an X-Acto knife. Then I painted the box pink, and if you make this, you can paint the inside of the box, but you don't have to. Now once the paint was dry, I put hot glue on the edges of a piece of parchment paper, and placed it inside of the box where the heart is. And then I added some more glue to make sure the parchment paper stays where I wanted it to. Next, I outlined the heart with a white paint marker, and then I made dashed lines around the outline. And I also ended up going over it later with paint to make it more solid. Then I put string lights inside of it, but if you want, you can use a battery-powered candle instead. And then I was done making this cardboard box nightlight idea. That's how I made these aesthetic summer DIYs. In the comments down below, let me know which DIY is your favorite, and if you like this video, subscribe to see more videos. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!